Hi, and welcome to episode 102 or 102 of C3 Crystals, Cauldrons, and Cocktails. I'm Ren,
And I'm River
and today we are going to be talking about water magic.
for Greg.
Now, yes, this was recommended or asked for by one of our patrons, Greg. Thank you, Greg.
hmm
It was
hmm
actually a very interesting topic, and there's a little bit more to water than what I was expecting. Wow.
Yeah, I think we'll actually have to do a second episode. There's so much more
There's a
than
lot.
I
Yeah,
really thought. I thought, oh, it's going to be a short episode, but man, there's a lot of information on it.
there is a lot. And what are we drinking? Let's say we're drinking water. That would have
Well, that
been
is
better for
that is
us.
yeah, but that is what we did. So we call this one the whimsical watermelon. And since our
Hmm.
topic is water, we were trying to find a recipe that used soda water or tonic water or any other kind of
Yes.
sparkling water.
Yes.
And it's kind of gross when you just add alcohol and water together.
And water.
So we're like, let's try watermelon.
So yeah.
So we this one has soda water, watermelon, and vodka. I always like to put lime in everything, so I spritz lime in mine, and I really like it actually.
It's pretty refreshing, you
Yeah,
know?
it's not super strong like a lot of alcoholic drinks are. It feels light,
It's like a fresh of breath, like a, what's the saying?
a fresh of breath air,
Yeah.
a
Listen,
breath
breath
of
of
fresh
fresh air.
air.
There you go. My brain's not working quite much today. So
Could it
yeah.
be the vodka? Could it? Could
No,
it
no, it's
be?
not the vodka. It's the long day, not the vodka. But let's talk water magic. So
Yes.
water is like an essential element in many forms of witchcraft and magical practices. It is
hmm
associated with emotion, intuition, purification, healing, and subconsciousness.
Yes.
Water spells in witchcraft often involve harnessing the energy and symbolism of water to achieve various goals.
Yes. So water witches is a thing. I mean, I know this topic is water magic, but there is an actual category of witches that call themselves water witches, and they're sometimes called sea witches. But many of them find a calling to different types of water. It doesn't have to be the ocean or the sea. It's actually rare for them to limit themselves to any one type of water, but sometimes they do. There are those that are truly sea witches that only
Hmm.
want to practice on the ocean or by the ocean in the sand, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
You might be a storm witch or a lake witch, a river witch, a swamp witch. Any path that makes use of water or mixes well with other paths is you can call yourself a water witch.
I think you're a
Um,
river witch.
a wibba witch? Am
A
I a wibba
river.
witch?
You're a river witch, I think,
Maybe. I do
because
like
of your name.
storms. I know that, but
You're
I
not going to acknowledge my joke?
no,
Eh,
no.
Okay. I bet you got that all the time growing up.
I did. It's a thing. Oh, so I didn't mean to ignore it. It's just that's
Okay, I see. I
I
see. You
get it
just
all
don't
the
like my
time.
jokes. You don't like my jokes. Okay. Okay.
But water reflects, and so the water witch does the same. He or she shares many qualities with the earth witch, as the earth is also 90% water. So, among
Mhm.
those qualities is the core belief of taking complete responsibility for their actions. That's a common thing with
Mm,
water witches.
okay.
Water witches accept that every move they make can cause ripples across the surface of the world, and they act
Mm.
accordingly.
Mm-hmm.
They specialize in healing, cleansing, beauty, emotions, intuition, and energy. And their magical style is usually based on instinct. There's not really a rule book. Well, there's not really a rule book for any of us, but some types of witches have, like a kitchen witch, it's you're cooking. With a water witch, it's you kind of follow your gut. There's not really any kind of
I was gonna
element
make
that,
a joke. You said
okay.
it's like a kitchen witch where you're cooking, like like a kitchen
Mm-hmm.
witchery.
Mm-hmm.
And so you said you're a water witch, and I was gonna say, what are you doing? Watering? Bad joke,
Well,
but
you can actually. I do like the water. It's just I in no way, shape, or form think I am a water witch, other than maybe a
yeah.
storm witch, because
I
I
mean,
love thunderstorms.
the water itself is beautiful and I love how it feels. Like it's like almost like silky. Like, like
Mm-hmm.
certain waters just hit different. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
But
Mm-hmm.
I hate the ocean, not because of the water, but because of what's in the water type of
Mm-hmm.
thing. And
Afraid
you
of
don't
sharks type thing.
know, it's like the unknown, like you can't see to the
Mm-hmm.
bottom, so you don't quite, it's not even like the critters, it's the depth. And I'm
Now
also
you
scared of
would love it
heights. So I don't know if
over
that translates into my fear of the ocean, like the heights of the cliffs and stuff in the
and
ocean, you can't
and
see
the
it.
depths of,
Yeah.
the ocean that you can't. But you
Yeah.
would love the Caribbean. It is so clear.
Oh, probably.
You
Yeah.
can see everything, which means you can see the critters. When my husband and I went there for one of our anniversaries, we went sailing on a little sailboat,
Hmm.
and we got to see turtles. I mean, they were right there. We could
That's
touch them.
cool.
It was and beautiful, beautiful things, but you can't see everything in the water.
Mhm.
So,
No,
which
I mean, the
that's a good
animals
thing.
don't bother me. Like, I don't mind like a fish brushing up against my leg.
Hmm.
It's just mainly like the depth to
Hmm.
an ocean that terrifies me,
That's interesting.
which is funny because I love the space, and space is also the exact same, just opposite.
Yeah, that I feel that water's more claustrophobic because you can drown, but if you're in space, there's no oxygen either. So I don't know why.
Yeah, so you're as light as a feather. Like there's nothing that you
Yeah.
just float, but in the ocean you're compressed, and I'm also claustrophobic. So
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know how I would
it gives me
do.
bad vibes.
Yeah. I'm not a big water fan. I think I may have drowned in one of my past lives or something. I
Hmm.
just am not a super, I mean, I love being in the water, but I'm not a good swimmer. I don't, I'll go underwater and I can swim. It's just, it's not one of my favorite things.
Yeah. Yeah.
But winter is the season when water witches are at their peak in power.
Oh, okay.
Winter has the ability to change water into ice, and just like that, a water witch can transform fluidity to solid form during the winter in their
Mm,
magic.
okay.
During this season, water witches tend to turn their view inside and evaluate their goals, which I think is common for all witches, because our ancestors were, dying at this time. This was the time of year when you stayed inside and hoped that you had enough food to get you through to the warm seasons again.
Hmm. Hmm.
Another common trait for a water witch is their quirky sense of humor. In some ways, a water witch sounds kind of crazy when he or she goes down these rabbit holes, kind of like we do.
Yeah.
Um, but they can make you laugh like nothing else will. The water witch is lighthearted, and just when you start to think that the water witch is pretty flighty and probably doesn't have any deep thoughts whatsoever, they'll prove you wrong. And they can have that serious conversation, and they can often put their finger right on the aspect of the situation and figure it out when other elemental witches can't do that.
Hmm.
So the water witch is generally very wise, but also very moody, like the sea. They're always in motion. They are governed by the moon as well, with the tides, just like the ocean.
Hmm.
And they rarely slow down. They're full of energy. They're always on the go. So, how do you know if you might be a water witch? Well, if you're curious about whether you might be a water witch or a sea witch, here's some common signs. You've always felt drawn to water or noticed that you're becoming fascinated by water, which for me, that's fire. I feel that way about
Yeah.
fire. You might dream about the ocean or about rivers and lakes. You might dream about me. Okay. Taking on your joke. Haha.
Haha.
Uh, you might suddenly notice that you love the feeling of rain on your skin, or maybe when you drink water, you feel just a great appreciation for it.
Hmm.
Yeah, isn't that interesting? I feel that when I drink liquor.
Oh.
Maybe I'm a liquor witch. If you collect things from riverbanks, lake shores, or beaches, if you're near the water, you tend to find little bits of driftwood, shells, or tumbled glass. You might be one of those crafty people that then makes things out of those items. You love to surf, swim, or engage in other water-based sports and activities. When you meditate, you visualize images of water. That's what comes into your
Oh.
mind that gives you that deep, soothing feeling, which is so funny for me because when I meditate, it's always a candle flame, always a flame.
Oh, mine is always like a open forest, like a forest.
Really
Yeah.
interesting. Mine is always fire because
Mine's
it's just so soothing.
like a nice light breeze forest. And maybe there's some rain involved, but that's not the
Hmm.
main thing.
Hmm. That's
Hmm.
so interesting. As a child, maybe you love to jump in puddles and splash in the rain. You might have gotten in trouble because you wouldn't come inside out of the rain. Your parents might not have been able to get you out of the bathtub. You were always in the water or the pool if you're at a beach vacation.
Mm-hmm.
Your favorite travel or holiday destinations always revolve around water. You prefer being near the beach as opposed to like the mountains. Like I prefer the mountains.
Mm-hmm.
You might be drawn to bath salts and often have flowers floating in your ritual baths.
Hmm.
You might be drawn to mythological creatures or deities associated with water, like mermaids or silkies, or maybe the Lady of the Lake, or that Greek goddess of the sea, which is Amphitrite.
Cool.
Um, and then don't forget, water is a major element.
Yeah,
So
it
there's
really is.
elemental parts of it as well. You know, water is about the slow progression of life as opposed to air, which is fast and,
Mm-hmm.
nothing ties it down. Like when you get in the water in the pool and you're trying to walk to the other side and it's thick and it slows you down,
Mm-hmm.
that's a representation of water. It represents our own inner mysteries, those parts of ourselves that we barely know. When the water element is balanced within us, it is calming, objective, artistic, flexible, and offers clarity. But when your water element is out of balance within you, it can result in deep fears and indecisive behavior. Unbalanced water can also lead us to make foolish and irrational decisions.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like my water is always unbalanced. I'm always making really bad decisions. So the element of water is associated with the signs of Cancer, Scorpio, and Pisces. And it also rules the fourth, eighth, and 12th houses, which we never did do an episode on the houses in the astrology. These signs are constantly battling with their emotions or the emotions of others around them, and this makes them deeply intuitive and empathic people. The direction water is associated with, like for your altar or for the spells you might be casting, is north. The function of water is caring, floating, emotional, sensitive, changeable and artistic, romantic but jealous,
Hmm.
subtle, affectionate, passive, loving, peaceful, and healing. The organs it's tied to are the kidney and the bladder.
That makes sense.
Makes sense, yeah. The qualities are cold, moist, heavy, deep, reflective, dissolving, ripping, abysmal, fluid, resurgent, obscurity, solidity, and motion. I feel like some of those are
That's a lot.
totally contradictive.
Yeah.
Solidity and motion are,
Yeah, but you
uh,
have to think water is the only like thing that, or a liquid is the only thing that can be
yeah,
like solid, gas,
gas
and
and
liquid. Yeah.
mm-hmm. The sense is taste, which is interesting because most water doesn't have a
Yeah, you
taste.
don't, unless if it's salt water, I guess, or dirty water.
That, ew, dirty water. When I go to the beach, the water table's so low, I can taste I don't know what you call it. It kind of you can just taste the water
That you're
doesn't
close
taste
to the
right.
beach. Like it's
Yeah,
not like, yeah.
yeah. The stones are aquamarine and beryl. The taste is salty, and the time of day is dusk. So,
Huh.
what are some types of things you can do with water magic?
Water magic is very intricate. I learned there's a lot that
Mm-hmm.
you can do with it. And so there are a couple of processes that I wanted to talk about in water magic. There are some that I don't go into detail with because there's a lot to go into detail
Yeah,
about.
we could really do an episode on each one of these things.
Yeah, yeah. So
Fascinating.
the first one I wanted to talk about is like purification and cleansing spells, because that's like one of the first things that we talked about in our crystals episode. Like you can cleanse
Mm-hmm.
your crystals with running
Running
water.
water. Mm-hmm.
So, water is known for its cleansing properties, both physical and spiritually. Water spells are often used to cleanse oneself, objects, or spaces of negative energies or influences. This might involve sprinkling consecrated,
Consecrated.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
consecrated water, taking ritual baths, or using water in rituals and cleansing or purifying. And so it's also interesting to think about because in Christianity you have holy water.
Oh yeah.
And that's like, I guess, a cleansing type of water or a
Mm-hmm. A
protective water.
purification, a
hmm
purity, a pure
Yeah,
water.
yeah.
I feel like they didn't mention shower cleansing as well, because I feel like you can cleanse your aura really well
Oh
in the
yeah.
shower.
Yeah. And I do like taking showers. Like showers
Mm-hmm.
are some of my favorite parts of the day if my
Mm-hmm.
anxiety and ADHD or whatever it
I
makes me
like
think like, ugh, shower.
baths and shower. Oh, but I have to tell you, I was taking ritual baths. I like to do that. And
hmm
the plug stopped working. It started to leak. So I would fill up the bathtub and like 10 minutes later, there would be no water. So I actually got a new cover. So hopefully I can start doing
Ooh,
ritual baths again.
that's cool. You
Yeah.
could just keep the water going at like a steady
I
pace to where it like,
I did, but then it turned cold, and then I was pouring just cold water into the bathtub because it's a huge bathtub. It's huge. I don't know that you've
oh,
ever seen it. I think I don't know.
I
You've been
don't
to the
know.
house, but yeah, I
Yeah.
don't know if you've ever been in there.
Yeah.
Anyway,
But how do you like do it?
how do you
Purification and
do
cleansing
purification? Okay.
spells.
Okay.
So you choose your water. So select type of water you want to use for your spell. That could be natural spring water, rainwater, river water,
Ah,
or ocean water or tap water, whatever's at the most
mm-hmm.
convenience for you and what's for your practice. And whatever's favored or often favored due to their purity and connections to the element. And
Mm-hmm.
so if you don't have access to those, tap water.
Yeah, that works too. And I would like to say other types of waters as well, like, well, you already said rainwater, but like dew water,
Oh yeah.
full moon water, dark moon water, water from any of the phases of the moon, and sun water are
hmm
also all choices to
Yeah.
consider
Yeah.
depending on what kind of purification you're looking for.
Yeah. It's what you're going for.
Hmm.
And then you're going to want to cleanse yourself. So before performing any purification or cleansing spell, you cleanse your spell. You cleanse your spell. You cleanse yourself first, physically and energetically. And I will say, I love washing my hands.
Really?
I love it because, like, a lot of the times I feel like my hands are dirty because I've touched something out and I don't know what's there and all the germs and all of that.
I
And
feel like
so,
COVID did that to all of us.
probably,
We
but
we all feel the need to wash now.
it's like it's the whole thing, like the actual feeling of the water and washing your hands. It just feels so nice. Like I love
Hmm.
washing my hands. And so you can
That's
wash your
interesting.
hands, you can take a ritual bath or shower using consecrated water. And so as you bathe or shower, you visualize the negative energies being washed away, leaving you feeling refreshed and renewed. And
Hmm.
then you're going to want to prepare your space. So you're going to create a calm and focused space for your spell work. This can be indoors or outdoors, depending on your preference. And then you're going to cleanse the area using the consecrated water by sprinkling or lightly spraying it around the space while visualizing negative energies dissipating. And so I just
I like
imagine
that.
I would put mine in like a little squirt bottle and just.
Yeah, I like that. I think I would
Mhm.
like to do this outside during a rainstorm.
Oh, yeah, that would be nice.
To me, that would feel very cleansing.
hmm I mean, I
Mm,
think so. I love the rain. So,
me too.
And then you're to cleanse objects, if you're working with specific objects that need cleansing, such as crystals, ritual tools, jewelry, whatever it may be, you dip them in the water or sprinkle the water over them. And so as you do this, you set your intention with the water to remove any negative energies or influences from those objects.
So what exactly makes consecrated water? Is it the fact that we've done it, say it's moon water, the fact that we set it out on the full moon, that makes it consecrated?
I
It's
think
full moon.
so.
Yeah, I
It's
think so
like the
too.
intention and the energy that you've put forth into said water.
I think putting salt into regular tap water would be a way to
Oh
consecrate
yeah,
it.
I could see that too.
Okay. Okay.
And then now when you perform the ritual, you can perform a simple ritual using water to cleanse yourself, your space, both. So this can be used for anything. And
Okay.
so here's a basic outline. So you're going to light a white or blue candle to represent purity and the element of water. Then you're
Okay.
going to hold a container of your consecrated water in your hands and focus on your intention to cleanse and purify. Then you're going to recite a cleansing incantation or chant that resonates with you. So, for example, it could be something like water pure, water bright, wash away all that's not right, negative energies be gone from here, leave only love and light sincere. You know,
I like that.
You like
I
the
like,
rhyming.
I do like the rhyming.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to rhyme, but I do
No,
like
it
that
doesn't
one.
have to rhyme. And then you sprinkle or lightly flick the consecrated water around your space. Again, I would do a little, you know, like
I like the flicking with your fingers.
yeah, I like the little spray bottles, you know.
You've got one because of your cat.
Well, it's
You can...
broken now, so I don't
Oh
have one
no.
anymore. Yeah. And so while you're flicking or spraying your water, while you recite that, so you'll recite the incantation while you do that. And then
maybe 3 times even, we've always talked about the number of 3,
3.
whatever feels comfortable for you.
Oh yeah. And then you visualize the water forming that protective barrier, purifying and cleansing whatever it is you're cleansifying. That's
Cleansifying.
That's a
I
word.
love that.
And
it is now.
Yeah, and then you imagine the space being filled with positive energy, light, and clarity.
I've never really thought about using water in this way until we did this episode.
I know.
That's fascinating.
I mean, I guess I never really looked at water like this. I knew it was used for this sometimes or whatever, but not like to the fullest extent,
I think because I'm so drawn to fire, I like to do they're not called smudge sticks. They're whatever they're called that I make out of the herbs in my garden. And I tie them with the rope and I burn that. I'm a burner. I like the fire. So I cleanse everything with smoke as opposed to water. And I kind of like the idea of using water.
Yeah. I mean, it's also a safer alternative for a lot of things, with smoke and
like
all of that.
Asthma people, like Nika's bonus kid has asthma, so she always has trouble using any kind of smoke and that kind of thing.
Yeah.
So yeah.
And then you're going to want to ground and center yourself after any type of ritual. And so after completing the cleansing ritual, take a few moments to ground and recenter yourself. You thank the water for its assistance in the purification process. And if you performed it indoors, you might want to open a window to let any remaining negative energies out.
Oh, good idea.
And then you're going to want to dispose of the water.
Okay.
So after the ritual is complete, dispose of the water in a respectful and environmentally friendly manner. You can pour it onto the earth as an offering or return it to the natural water source that you got it from. Let's say you got it from a river or a lake or whatever it may be, if it is safe to do so. So if you didn't put anything in it or
for
anything
sure
like that.
I mean, and you could water your garden with it. And
yes.
Your witch herbs or whatever too is a great thing. Although if it's dirty with dirty energy, then you might not want to put it back onto your plants, like you said. But yeah, it depends on what you're cleansing and what it was cleansed of.
Yeah, that's a good way of putting it. And then divination and scrying is something that you can do with water, which I hadn't even thought about. And so, because water is seen as a reflective element, making it suitable for divination and scrying practices.
Do you know what I'm sorry to interrupt, but
No, it's
I
okay.
always think about Harry Potter And you know how they take the little pieces of the thoughts and they put them in the water
Yeah,
to
yeah.
look at, and Harry puts his face in it and can see the
Uh-huh.
thoughts, the memories in the water. That's what I always think of when I think of water divination.
Really? I
Yeah,
didn't
it's
think
not
that
the
was
same thing,
water.
but
I didn't think that was water that the thoughts float around in.
I don't know what it
I
is.
thought that it was just like they were contained in this, like, whatever it was, like the bowl, for example. And
And
that,
that it was the memories that were the
yeah,
liquid.
yeah.
Maybe I feel like I always imagined it as that little string that goes into the water, I thought, but I don't know.
I don't know either.
It's about time to watch those again.
Yeah. But using a bowl of water or a reflective surface like a mirror, witches may perform scrying rituals to gain
Hmm.
insights into the past, present, or future, or to connect them with spiritual realms. So, again, you're going to want to choose your type of water and then select a clean and clear container to hold the water. You can use a bowl, a shallow dish, a little mirror. Like,
Hmm.
I'm picturing a mirror with like a little bit of water on it, like a pool of water
Oh,
on
that's a
it,
good idea.
or any other reflective serious surface that you might feel connected to.
You know,
So then
another movie that had, I'm sorry again.
go ahead.
I'm a nerd, I know, but another movie that had that was The Lord of the Rings, when they ended up in, was it The Lord of the Rings or The Hobbit? No, it was Lord of the Rings, where they end up in the woods and the elf woman made the dude, the little hobbit dude. I'm not doing well with names today. You know, he scried and saw the horror of what might come, and he,
Uh-huh.
right before he tried to give her the ring, and you know, you
Yeah.
remember that?
No.
Oh, okay.
I mean, I'm obsessed with the Hobbit movies,
Yeah,
but I
those are
don't
all my
know
favorite movies that I,
the
you know,
Lord of
Harry
the Rings
Potter,
as
Lord of the
much.
Rings, Hobbit.
Like, I've
Love,
seen
love
Lord
them
of the
all.
Rings, but I've never really like intently focused on them
Well,
like
it
I did the
takes like
Hobbit.
9 hours to watch
It
all
does.
of
There's
them.
a lot to it. Yeah.
And I am a person who can sit and veg and do that, but you like to move, so
Yeah, I do.
yeah.
And then I don't know if I said this, but then you're gonna fill, like, after you choose your container and you choose the water you're using, then you're gonna fill your container with the water, like it could be spring water, consecrated water, and that
Mm-hmm.
you've charged for positive energy, just
Mm-hmm.
positive energy water. So then you're gonna create your sacred space by setting up a quiet and comfortable space where you won't be disturbed. You
Mm-hmm.
dim the lights or use soft lighting to create an ambiance conductive to relaxation and focus. And
No
then you
little
may,
4-year-olds. Mama,
no,
mama,
no,
mama, mama,
they're
mama.
not allowed. They're not allowed. You may want to light candles or burn incense to help set the mood as well. And incense also helps
I, yeah,
clarify,
I wonder
cleanse.
which incense would be best for doing water divination. We'll have to look that up.
Yeah, I have an incense that's actually named Ocean.
Real, see, that would probably be perfect.
Yeah.
Huh.
And
Okay.
then you're going to ground and center. So
Mm-hmm.
then you're going to take a few moments to ground and center yourself, relax your mind, your body, and let go of any distracting thoughts. And then you can do this through deep breathing, meditation, or visualization.
Mm-hmm.
Then you set your intention. Before you begin scrying, set a clear intention for your session. Decide what you want to do and how you want to seek guidance or what you want insights on.
Mm-hmm.
Then you focus on a specific question if that's what you want, or a general area of your life. It's whatever you're trying to focus on, set
To
your
find
intention. Yeah,
answers
your
to, yeah.
intention. And then you begin scrying. So then you gently gaze into the water surface without focusing too hard. Allow your eyes to relax and your gaze becomes soft. Don't strain your eyes. Let the images come naturally. It's common to see distortions, patterns, or even images forming on the water surface. So you
Yeah, I think
also,
you have to, it takes a lot of practice to do this.
yeah, yeah.
It does.
Easier said than done.
Yeah, but I mean, as you practice, you do, you know how, have you ever laid back and watched the clouds go by and look at all the different designs you see in the clouds? It's kind
Yeah.
of the same thing that you're learning to do in this water.
Yeah.
Same kind of thing.
And then you're going to want to keep an empty mind, So as
Hmm.
you gaze into the water, try and clear your mind of conscious thoughts and allow yourself to drift into kind of a meditative state where
Hmm.
you don't force any images. Instead, you just let them come on their own. And again, you have to be very patient as it takes
Yeah.
some time for your mind to adjust to this form of divination.
Hmm.
And then if you do have symbols and images, how are you going to interpret those symbols? Pay attention
Hmm.
to any images, shapes, or symbols that appear on the water surface, and then trust your intuition to guide you to interpreting these symbols. So, what feelings or thoughts do they provoke? And then, if they provoke anything, write down any impressions that have come to you, as they might hold valuable insights to whatever you're seeking.
Yeah. Keep a divination journal.
Mm-hmm. You're just gonna have to
Yeah.
have a whole stack of journals after you're
I
done
know.
listening
I,
to
I,
us. You
I
need a
have,
divination journal, you need a shadow work journal, you need all of this stuff.
I now have an excuse.
Yeah, yeah, for
Honey,
real.
I have to buy this because I
I
need a
need
divination
it.
journal
I
now.
need a divination
Absolutely.
journal. I can't just take this one and split it in half, even though I'm
No,
not even going to
it's
use the
already
rest of the
dedicated to
pages.
something
Yep,
else. That's
yep.
right. That's right. Okay.
And then after you do that, you might have some questions to ask. So if you have specific questions in mind, you can silently ask them during your scrying session or quietly ask them, like whisper or even say them out loud. It doesn't really matter. You can even say them in
Hmm.
your head and
Yeah.
watch for any changes in the water surface that might indicate a response or insight related to that question. And then
Yeah.
once you're
I
done,
read, sorry, I keep interrupting you, but I read
that's
somewhere,
okay.
I think it was when I was doing research for this one, that there have been scientific experiments about whether your mind can move water. And
Oh,
supposedly it has been proven
oh,
that
really?
your mind's energy can actually move the water. But I don't know if the scientist was, there are not scientific scientists out there. So I
Yeah.
don't know, but I
I
read
don't
that and I
know.
was like, "Oh,
That's
that's
cool.
fascinating."
Yeah, if it's
Mhm.
true, that's cool.
Mhm.
And then once you are done, and you want to end the session, you that's when you have reached the feeling that you've received the information you need and when the
Okay.
images start to fade and that's when it's gently time to end the session.
Gently. I like that.
Gently. So then you're going to thank the water and the energies you've worked with for their guidance. Let's say you drew in some ancestors. So let's say you drew in any other type of deity, anything. You're going to thank anybody who had a hand in this ritual.
And
And
don't do it Rivers way and say, "Thanks, bitches. Good stuff."
don't do that.
That's
This is a
that's not
calming
gentle. Yes.
water ritual, not a
Okay.
fire, rock hard, rock on ritual.
Okay.
Then you can also perform a grounding exercise to return to your
Mm-hmm.
normal state of awareness and all of that.
Right.
And then after you're done with all of that, you're going to want to record your insights. So take time, open
In
your
your journal.
journal, write down your experiences, your impressions, any symbols that you saw. And over time, you might see some patterns and connections that can help you deepen your understanding of what you need.
Yeah, that's what's so hard. You can't, I am a very impatient person. And so I want answers now, but it really
Yeah.
does take time. And that is
Mm-hmm.
why these journals are so important because you have to go back and look at it all and see the changes or see the connections that are being made. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And then I think maybe I have a couple more. Oh man, I have a lot more.
Yeah, you did a lot.
I wanted to be thorough. And so now let's talk about emotional healing and balance. So water is strongly associated with emotion and the
Hmm.
subconscious mind. So water spells can be employed to help heal emotional wounds, release emotional blockages, and promote emotional balance. So, rituals involving water can assist with working through grief, trauma, and other emotional challenges.
I hadn't
So,
thought of that.
I
Hmm.
mean, maybe you could help incorporate this like water magic into some shadow work, like how we talked about last week.
That's a great idea. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
we're coming up on my dad's year anniversary of his death, and I'm starting to feel very
Heavy.
heavy. And
Mm-hmm.
so I might have to do some water rituals. That might be
Yeah.
a very soothing. I never thought about it because
Mm-hmm.
fire doesn't seem the right way to um memorialize him. That's
Yeah.
not, water sounds much more soothing.
Yeah.
I like
Yeah.
that idea. I'm going to take your notes and do some of this,
Yeah. And I mean, it's simple. This is a simple way to do it is ritual bath, you know.
which I love.
Yeah, it's one of the most common ways to use water for emotional healing. You know, people are like, oh, they had a rough day. They want to take a bath, unwind with a glass of wine, you know, just sit and be alone. But the water has something to do with it too. So you fill a bathtub with warm water and add salts, herbs, or essential oils known for like their soothing properties, healing properties, whatever you think you need help with.
Hmm.
That's the herb or salt or oil that you
That's a great
choose.
idea. Yeah.
Hmm.
Because I
And then
know on that anniversary day, it's going to be a rough
yeah.
one.
Yeah, just go get some herbs, go get some
Okay.
salts, go get all that stuff and just draw yourself a bath when you think you need it the most in that day.
And let it
Mm-hmm.
wash out of
Yep.
me.
And
Okay.
so, and as you soak, you can visualize the water washing any negative emotions, any negative
Hmm.
energy, anything that you need gone, and it can replace them with the feeling of calm and balance and just make you feel a little bit better.
Okay.
And then you want to, and then visualization and meditation is a part of this. So you can also find a quiet space near a body of water, such as a lake, a river, ocean, whatever it may be, and sit by the water's edge and close your eyes. Then you're going to imagine your emotions as ripples on the water surface. As you watch the ripples, envision them gradually becoming calmer and smoother, and symbolizes your emotional healing and balance. So as the water moves, that's how your emotions and everything moves with you.
I must say that sitting by an ocean is very, the sound of the waves
I
hitting
love
is
the sound of
very
the waves.
calming.
Hmm. I
So
do like that.
I may have to try to convince my husband that we need to go to the beach uh, for my 1 year. I mean, that would be, I don't want to cry, but that would be a really good way, I think, to honor my dad.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
it would. I think it would.
Hmm.
And then you can also hold emotional release ceremonies where you
Oh,
write down the emotions you want to release on a small piece of paper or however big paper you need. And then you
yeah.
take the paper to a flowing body of water. You hold the paper in your hands, focus on all the emotions you wish to let go of, and then release the paper into the water, watching it float away. And the floating away is a symbolic act of that can help you release that emotional burden. You know, like you have all your intent on that piece of paper and you let it go within nature. And it's paper,
I
so it's
just,
biodegradable.
yeah, I just never thought of using water in this way. I
Mm-hmm.
always, I'm an air element. I'm a Libra, so air is our element.
Yeah.
And fire. I love fire. So I've always thought about, the little balloons that they have in whatever ceremony, the
Mm-hmm.
lunar ceremony in China, I
Like the
believe.
lanterns.
Yes, the
Mm-hmm.
lanterns.
Mm-hmm.
That is the way I thought about releasing it, but I think I might do water
Yeah.
this
Yeah.
year. It
Yeah.
seems this is talking to me. Very
Mm-hmm.
interesting.
And then I know we know about moon water, but moon water is very important when it comes to
Hmm.
water. So you can harness the energies of the moon and within the water by creating moon water during a full moon and any phase of the moon.
Any
Each
phase. Yeah.
phase has a different meaning.
Yeah.
So you're just going to place a container of water outside under the moon's light for a night. And then the next morning, try to bring it in before the sun comes up so it
Yep.
doesn't affect with the charges.
Yep.
And then that's it. That's basically it. And you can use the water for emotionally healing rituals. Like you can pour it into your bath or you can use it in like
You can
with that
drink
piece
it.
of paper and try to maybe do something before you set it go and let it go into that moving body of water. You can do something like that. And
You can
so,
use moon water in your tea in the morning.
oh, that's very true. You just make
Yeah.
sure it's safe water to drink and all of
Oh,
that.
for sure. Yeah. 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 For sure.
Yeah. And I know that you do jar spells, and so there's
Oh.
an emotional healing jar spell. So you create an emotional healing jar by filling a small clear jar with consecrated water, the healing crystals that you need that resonate with you, with emotional
Mm-hmm.
healing, with whatever, and it could be rose quartz, amethyst, aquamarine, anything
Mm-hmm.
like that. You place the jar in sunlight or moonlight. I like moonlight in this case,
Me too.
to charge and infuse the water with healing energy. And you can keep this jar on your altar or in a special place to help you focus on emotional healing. And
Oh,
what
I
I
may have to
I
do that.
I like this one because that's something you can keep close. And if you feel like those emotional, like anything that if you feel it coming back, like those
Yeah.
emotions coming back intensely, then you can just recharge it, and hopefully it's all reset and help you deal with that
I
emotional
love that idea.
problem.
And my altar is right next to my bed.
Mm-hmm.
And that's when I have the hardest time dealing with my sadness
Yeah.
about my dad passing, because there's nothing, when you're laying there, it all comes there. But if I had it right next to me on the altar, I think that might help me. So
Mm-hmm.
maybe I'll do that too.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be a rough October this year.
Yeah. Yeah. You can also do like elemental connection. It's you connect with the element of water by spending time near these water sources, like
Hmm.
rivers or lakes or oceans, and sit quietly by the water, or sitting in, the rain, and just feeling the
Hmm.
rain hit your skin. And I mean, I don't want to say waters like it has to be a fresh body water. Maybe it's even a pool, like
That's
something
true.
like that. I mean, I know it's chemically and what be
They
it,
have
but it's still a body of
saltwater pools
water.
too. I
That's true.
mean,
That's
I
very
would love
true.
to have a saltwater pool.
Yeah. And so you can just sit quietly by the water, and this allows soothing energy to flow over you, through you, whatever it may be, to help to restore your emotional balance. You can
You know, I
also
bet
collect, yeah,
I bet even a fountain would work.
even a fountain. I think a fountain, like
Mm-hmm.
I think anything like that that connects to you. It doesn't have to,
Mm-hmm.
oh, you live in the middle of inland, and so you're not near an ocean, you're nowhere near a lake, you're nowhere
Right.
near a river. You also have other options like rain or fountains or
Mm-hmm.
pools, or even just a puddle outside after it rains.
Mm-hmm.
And then you can sit by the water and allow it to have that energy flow through you. You can also collect small, smooth rocks from the water to carry with you as talismans for that emotional healing.
I like
Because
that idea.
yeah,
I
because
always pick
but
up
then
little
you also
rocks.
have to be very careful of where you're picking up these rocks and taking them away from, because some
Oh.
lands are very sacred, and you could grab a spirit if you're not
Oh,
even
that's a good
looking for
point.
it.
I hadn't thought about
Yeah.
that.
So you just gotta be careful with what you take.
Okay.
And then chants and affirmations. So you're going to combine water with spoken or written affirmations to amplify their effects. So while holding a container of water, you can repeat an affirmation related to emotional healing and balance, such as, I release what no longer serves me and welcome
Mm-hmm.
emotional equilibrium, or something like
Mm-hmm.
that.
Mm-hmm.
So now let's talk about dream work and intuition, because I know that, I mean, why not involve water in this too?
Yeah.
So, water is considered a conduit for intuition and spiritual insights. So,
Mm-hmm.
some witches may use water in their dream related spells to enhance dream recall, or induce prophetic dreams, or connect to their subconscious mind during meditation or divination.
Do
And
tell. I'm
so,
curious. Yeah.
uh, dream journal by water. So, placing a glass of consecrated water on your bedside table before going to sleep. As you wake up, take a few sips of the water and then write down your dreams in the journal immediately. And so then the
Ah.
water is known to enhance, dream recall, and can help you remember more details in your dreams. And so what I'm thinking is, maybe you charge the water the night before, you put it in the
Mm-hmm.
fridge, whatever it is, and then you have it at your bedside table, and you drink it before you go to bed, and maybe that'll help, like, your intention that you set when you charged it in the moon can help you with that dream recall. It can help you with all of that. And then you immediately wake up, you drink it to also again help you with that dream recall, and then you write it down all in your journal.
I need that. I've started we did the dream walking episode a little while
Mm-hmm.
ago,
Mm-hmm.
and I have started every night as I go to sleep saying, I will realize I'm dreaming. I will be, and
Does
I've
it
had the
work?
most bizarre, so far
Oh,
not.
okay. Oh,
It
okay.
takes a long time for that to work. So
Mm-hmm.
I say it every night, but I have had some of the most bizarre dreams in a while. I dreamed about
Ooh.
vampires last night. Crazy, crazy dreams.
Well, we did just talk about vampires not too long ago, so maybe it
That's
has
true.
some connection. I
Maybe.
guess it's been a little bit, but still.
Yeah, I don't know where that came from.
Yeah. And then you can also do tarot by water, which I thought was very
Tarot by
interesting.
water.
So you keep a bowl or a cup of water by you or in the center of your tarot cards to help act as that conduit for energies, I thought. So
Hmm.
maybe it can help your tarot have a clearer picture of what's going on with you or vice versa.
I honestly never thought of using water in this way.
I know.
And all of these ways that you've been talking about.
Yeah. And then there's two topics I didn't really go into depth about, like how I did in the other ones, where I kind of broke
Hmm.
down what and how you could do it. It's one of them is elemental magic. So in many magical traditions, each of the four elements, earth, air, fire, and water, hold its own unique energy and symbolism.
Hmm.
And you can kind of tap into the power if you use all of them at once
Yeah.
in a spell, and that can kind of create like harmony and alignment in your magical workings. But again, I didn't go
Hmm.
into depth because it went a little bit more into earth, air, and fire other than just
Right.
water, and we're specifically talking about water.
Hmm.
And then also the next topic is weather magic, because I mean we've talked about the rain,
Hmm.
but there's definitely more power in like cyclones or hurricanes or tornadoes
Lightning.
and lightning and
Hmm.
all of that. And so water is closely tied to the element and its natural form, like rain or storms. So some may engage in weather related spells, invoking or manipulating water related forces that bring about rain, like calm storms, and or they can harness the energy of the natural water at its source.
Yeah. See, I was going to say that would be a great topic to talk about too. Just weather magic. I mean, we've talked about some weather magic, but water weather magic in that a calm storm water would be used for one thing, whereas the lightning, which, it's not surprising because I do love the fire,
Mm-hmm.
lightning is magical to me.
Yeah.
And so water collected during a lightning storm would be a different form of very
Yeah.
high energetic
Yeah, it
water
would.
to use.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
fascinating. And water magic, water magic can be used in combination with other magics. You're not just bound to one type of magic. I mean, I
Yeah.
think even though I'm a fire, and I'm not just a fire witch either, but you can do all kinds of things. So Greg, who is one of our patrons and is a plant person, and that's his path, is the green magic. He can incorporate water magic into his green magic. So, like if you're working with herbs, you can water them as they grow with moon water or water made on whatever specific phase of the moon works best for that particular herb. It's going to take
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
research and your
Yeah.
gut, because a
Yeah.
lot of times the research is what other witches find, and that might not be the truth for you. So,
Yeah. Yeah.
go with your gut too. So we can do a whole episode just on phases of the moon and moon water for that and how to use it with plant magic.
Mm-hmm.
But it can also be as simple as making a cup of coffee or tea in the morning using your moon water or sun water as the base.
That's true.
There, there's just so much more that we can talk about,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
we'll stop here for now. I mean, thank you for listening.
Yes. Thank you.
Do you want me to do the outro, or you do the outro, or?
I can do it.
Okay.
So you can find us at our website at www.c3witchypodcast.com. There you will find our episodes, links to our social media, links to our merch, like www.c3witchypodcastmerch.com, but you can also get it
Mm-hmm.
at our normal website too. And don't forget, we have our spooky season merch out now. It's limited time only. Get it now before it's too late.
Mm-hmm.
I cannot stress that enough. And please support us on Patreon or Buzzsprout. You'll get access to our After Dark series where we post pretty much full-length episodes
on the darker
only
side
for
of
you
magic.
guys, on the darker side, only for you guys. And you also get extra goodies on Patreon if you do sub on Patreon, like guided meditations and witchy to-do list, recipes, and like now we have new bonus content for our newsletters and a lot more. So I think that's it. I think I covered everything. And so we'll be back.
We'll be back. And until then, stay witchy.